Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and it's epic today. I've got a hero theme, and we're going to take a look at 7 ways to handle it. 7 simple steps to a more sophisticated harmonization, a more epic harmonization. My best performing video, and when I say that, I have to say it in all modesty because it's like, I don't know, 24,000 views or something, is about epic chord progressions. And I think it's because there's something really exciting about hearing chromatic mediants and alternative views of simple melodies, like a diatonic melody, which suddenly gets blasted into outer space by a funny harmonization. And that's what we're going to do today. First of all, though, let me just say thanks so much for your questions. It really helps me a lot as I prepare my next days and the day forward, because I do these a few days in advance, the days forward, to think about things and imagine what I'm going to do next. If I'm trying to do videos every day, super fun for me. I'm really excited about the way everything is going here. But my little brain, I have to think of new things to do. And so your questions, whether you stump me or challenge me or call me out on my, sometimes rambling thoughts about things, really, really useful. Of course, you must realize by now, if you've watched more than a couple of these videos, that mostly what I'm doing is talking to myself. I'm reminding myself, a lot of teachers do this, of things I need to know. Well, let's get started. Take a look at my theme. So it's a simple enough theme, and of course, something you probably know about hero themes is they're kind of based around the fundamental frequencies of the horn or trumpet, that thing. Now, if you look at the main tones, and they're very easy to see because they're long, they outline a very simple C chord, E, G, C, E. The long tones are kind of all about C, but of course, terribly boring. Our first harmonization, step 1, is a diatonic harmonization using primary chords. See the roots down here? C, G, F, C. And a simple triplet pulse in the rhythm. You can hear that there's a triplet subdivision of the beat. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. That was all major, right? 1, 5, 4, 1. Major chords. 3 major triads. There's something really uplifting about the major. But what if we go to the relative minor, A minor? We're going to use what's called the Andalusian cadence. 6, A minor, 5, 4, and then E major, maybe E major 7. This really sounds like it's an A minor. It's a different flavor, but it really feels like the same thing. Feels like it's in a diatonic world in a great way. I kind of like that. And there's a next level of diatonicism that we want to look at, because those 2 key centers are just very strongly around the sort of conventional chords, 1, 4, and 5, or 1 and 5 in the relative minor. Now, in this case, let's take a look at the roots. C, the 1 chord, walks up to E minor, the 3 chord. It's going to be a very different sound. The major tone there will be the minor 3rd. It's kind of an unusual place, and it'll feel melancholy in a kind of an interesting way. Stepping down, D minor, stepping down again back to C. Emotionally, this feels different. Listen to the slightly different emotional color of this progression. 1, 3, 2, 1. The 3 and 2 chords are minor chords, and they give us a very different flavor. It suggests something interesting. It suggests motion to chords a third away from our home note C. And that's what we're going to do next. I've done videos already about this idea. Root motion in thirds to chromatic tones. You've probably heard the $2 expression chromatic mediant before, and if you haven't, it just means I'm going to move, we'll take a look down at the keyboard, this C chord to E flat major. It's a striking sound, and you notice how the G stays on top? It's a very striking sound and kind of great. You can also think of it as borrowing the 3 chord from the parallel minor. Some people call this modal modulation or modal exchange. In any case, what was C major suddenly feels like it might be part of a C minor world, and it's striking to the ear. That's what I've used here. The first chord is still C major, and then I go up to E flat major. Striking and kind of fun. And then the next chord is A flat major, more major chords. And then we're going to come back home again to C. Listen to this, 3 major chords in a row. They feel kind of like they're from 2 different worlds, and those worlds collide in an interesting way. This is a very common heroic harmonization, and you've probably heard it in video games and films. It's a sort of a typical Danny Elfman kind of gesture. Very effective. It's a chromatic mediant modulation, or you can think of it as modal exchange. Let's take the idea of chromatic mediants one step further and surprise ourselves with the last chord. I'm going to use the C to start, and then I'm going to go to the E flat major chord, and then A flat major, and from there, I'm going to launch again to a new chromatic mediant. This tone up here, E, suggests to me I could use an E major chord. Check it out, it sounds great. They work really well together, and if you think about the roots, C at the center, E flat is a third, E is also a third, it's a major third, C at the center, A flat's a third. It's a classic example of chromatic mediant modulation. A very powerful approach to melody is coupling. Let the harmonic voices underneath the melody follow the melody. And that's what I've done in the next example. And I've maintained the chords. I've just made everything move with the melody. So the first vertical moment is a C chord. The next vertical moment here is the E flat. Here, an expanded A flat chord. And then finally, ending up on an E chord. Everything rises. It's a strong effect. There's no bass here. We're just going to hear a harmonized melody. Striking, really, really useful. Imagine it voiced in strings or brass. Really bright and great sounding. Here's our last example. This is step number 7. We started off with a heroic theme that really just kind of uses the chord tones from C major. We harmonized it with major diatonic chords and then kind of the relative minor diatonic chords. We added some other surprising diatonic chords, E minor and D minor, and from there started into a little bit of modal modulation. Modal exchange from the major to the minor. We got the E flat major chord, the A flat major chord. Chromatic Mediant says we can use the E major chord. Lots of excitement going on here. All right, so one of the things that all orchestrators like to do is to create a little propulsive energy underneath things. And so I've taken those chords and I've broken them up into arpeggios. The melody is doubled in octaves to make it a little more prominent. That triplet figure gives you a really strong propulsion. Imagine that in winds, brasses and double basses in the bottom, soaring strings on the top. Well, I hope this has been useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you've stayed with it this far, there's something of value for you in this channel and other places too. Ask a question. Let me know what's going on. Search the channel. I've got like 400 videos on this channel right now, and 300 of them are on stuff like this. More than 300. Hey, I'll see you next time.